In 2023, energy companies told pensioners to put on another jumper. By 2024, 8 million households were choosing between heating and eating. But while Westminster argued about price caps, a quiet revolution was happening in bungalows and terraced houses across Britain. Pensioners were unplugging their ovens, not because they had given up cooking, because they had discovered something better. Number 14 on this list saves more money than switching energy providers. Number 7 was actually tested by engineers at a university, and the results embarrassed every major oven manufacturer in Europe. And number 3 is so effective that energy companies would rather you never found out about it. These 25 tricks are turning a £40 kitchen appliance into the most powerful money-saving device in Britain. Before we start, subscribe, because what you are about to learn could cut your energy bill in half. Let us count them down. Number 25. The no preheat rule. Your oven needs 10 to 15 minutes to reach temperature before you can even slide in a tray of fish fingers. That is dead money. Heat pouring into an empty metal box while the meter ticks over. A standard electric oven draws around 2,500 watts during preheat. At current electricity rates of roughly 24 pence per kilowatt hour, that warm-up costs about 10 pence every single time. Pensioners who switched to an air fryer discovered it reaches cooking temperature in under 3 minutes. Some models hit 200 degrees in 90 seconds flat. The compact chamber, usually less than a tenth the volume of a full oven, means the heating element has barely any air to warm. No waiting, no wasted energy, no standing in the kitchen watching the temperature dial crawl upward. Just press the button and put the food in. One retired couple in Wolverhampton calculated they were preheating their oven 350 times a year. That is £35 in preheat costs alone. Gone. Overnight. Number 24. Batch cooking chips for the week. Instead of firing up the oven every evening for a portion of oven chips, pensioners across the Midlands started cooking 3 days' worth in one air fryer session. 12 minutes at 190 degrees. Enough chips for Monday, Wednesday and Friday. The leftovers go into a sealed container in the fridge and reheat in the air fryer in 4 minutes flat. Crispy every time. No sogginess. No microwave sadness. The air fryer uses roughly 1,400 watts compared to the oven's 2,500. Shorter cook time, lower wattage, fewer sessions per week. The maths is brutal. What cost 22 pence per session in the oven now costs 8 pence in the air fryer, and you are doing it half as often. That is the kind of saving that adds up to real money over 52 weeks. Number 23. Toast without the grill. Every morning, millions of British pensioners fire up the electric grill to make 2 slices of toast. The grill element pulls around 2,000 watts and takes 4 or 5 minutes to crisp both sides. An air fryer does toast in 3 minutes at a fraction of the energy. Place the bread directly on the rack, set it to 180 degrees and walk away. The circulating hot air crisps both sides evenly without flipping. No grill element heating the entire kitchen. No leaving the oven door open to watch for burning. Pensioners who made this single switch reported saving over £1 a month just on breakfast. It sounds small, but £1 a month over 10 years is £120 from toast alone. Your grandmother would have understood that kind of thinking. Number 22. Reheating leftovers properly. The microwave turns last night's roast potatoes into rubber. Everyone knows this, but nobody talks about it. Because what else are you going to do? Throw them away? Pensioners discovered the air fryer reheats leftovers in 4 to 5 minutes with a result that actually tastes like the original meal. Roast potatoes come back crispy. Sausage rolls get flaky again. Even fish and chips from the chippy taste, like they just came out of the fryer. The energy cost of reheating in an air fryer is roughly 2 to 3 pence per session, compared to 7 or 8 pence for switching the oven back on. But the real saving is food waste. When leftovers taste this good, nothing gets binned. The average UK household throws away £700 worth of food every year. Even cutting that by 10% pays for the air fryer twice over. Number 21. The foil sling method. One pensioner in Doncaster figured out that shaping a strip of aluminium foil into a sling, looping it under the food, makes removing delicate items from the air fryer basket effortless. No broken fish. No crumbled fish cakes collapsing through the grate. No need to tip the whole basket upside down and lose half your dinner. But here is the energy-saving part. Without the sling, people open the basket, fumble with tongs, drop things, and leave the air fryer open for 30 to 60 seconds while they sort it out. Every second that basket is open, heat escapes, and the element has to work harder to recover. The sling means you lift the food out in 2 seconds, basket closed, heat retained. It is the same principle your mother used when she told you to stop standing with the fridge door open. Except this time, it actually saves measurable electricity. Number 20. Cooking eggs without boiling water. Boiling a full kettle to make 2 boiled eggs wastes an astonishing amount of energy. The kettle alone draws around 3,000 watts. But pensioners discovered that hard-boiled eggs come out perfectly in an air fryer. No water at all. Place eggs straight into the basket at 130 degrees for 10 minutes. Run them under cold water after. The shells peel off clean because the dry heat creates a tiny air gap between the membrane and the white. Energy cost, about 3 pence versus 5 or 6 pence for the kettle and hob method. Multiply that by 7 mornings a week and it adds up faster than you think. Some pensioners now do a batch of 6 eggs on Sunday evening and keep them in the fridge for the week. 1 session. 6 breakfasts sorted. Pennies. Number 19. Drying herbs from the garden. Every summer, pensioners with allotments and window boxes watch herbs bolt and go to waste because drying them in the oven is expensive and unpredictable. Too hot and they turn to dust. Too cool and they go moldy. An air fryer set to its lowest temperature, around 50 to 60 degrees, dries rosemary, thyme and sage in 3 to 4 minutes. The rapid air circulation pulls moisture out without cooking the leaves. The result is herbs that crumble between your fingers and taste like they just came off the plant. A jar of dried mixed herbs costs £1.50 at Tesco. A summer's worth from the garden, dried in the air fryer for a few pence of electricity, saves £10 to £15 a year on spices alone. That is money for the gas meter, not Schwartz's shareholders. First pattern break. Here is where things get interesting. The air fryer is not just replacing the oven. It is replacing the oven, the grill, the deep fat fryer, and in some cases, the hob. One woman in Barnsley told her local paper she had not switched on her cooker in 14 months. Everything goes in the air fryer: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even her Christmas pudding. Energy monitoring devices showed her electricity usage dropped by £9 a month after she made the switch. That is £108 a year from one appliance change. And she bought the air fryer for £35 at Argos. She made her money back in 4 months. The oven is now storage. She keeps her baking trays in there. Her grandchildren think it is a cupboard. Here is what the energy companies do not advertise. A standard electric oven costs between £150 and £200 a year to run if you use it daily. An air fryer doing the same meals costs between £40 and £60. The gap between those two numbers is where your savings live. Number 17. Jacket potatoes in half the time. A jacket potato takes 90 minutes in the oven. 90 minutes of a 2,500 watt element grinding away. In the air fryer, a medium potato takes 35 to 40 minutes at 200 degrees. Some pensioners discovered that microwaving the potato for 5 minutes first, then finishing it in the air fryer for 15 minutes, produces a fluffy inside with a proper crispy skin. Total energy cost about 5 pence. The oven method costs roughly 22 pence. That is a 77% saving on one of Britain's most beloved meals. And the skin is better, genuinely better. The rapid air circulation creates a crunch the oven cannot match because the moisture gets blasted away instead of trapped inside. Number 16. Cooking frozen veg from the bag. Boiling frozen peas on the hob means filling a pan with water, heating it to 100 degrees, cooking the peas, then pouring away all that expensive hot water down the drain. Pensioners who toss frozen vegetables into the air fryer at 180 degrees for 8 minutes get roasted veg with caramelized edges. Broccoli gets charred tips. Carrots go sweet and tender. Even frozen sprouts become something people actually want to eat. The energy saving is about 60% compared to the hob and boiling water method. But the real trick is what happens to appetite. When vegetables taste this good, they stop being a chore and start being the best part of the plate. Pensioners report eating more veg because the air fryer makes them delicious, which means fewer trips to the doctor and fewer prescriptions. The savings cascade outward from the kitchen. Number 15. The bread roll revival. Day-old bread rolls from the reduced section go stale by morning. Your mother would have wrapped them in a damp tea towel and warmed them in the oven. The air fryer version takes 3 minutes at 150 degrees. Spray the rolls with a fine mist of water first. The circulating heat rehydrates the crust while crisping the outside. They come out tasting fresh-baked. Cost about 1 penny per session. One pensioner in Swansea buys reduced bread rolls every Tuesday for 10 pence a bag, revives them throughout the week, and has not paid full price for bread in 2 years. Annual saving on bread alone, roughly £80. That is not a cooking trick. That is a financial strategy disguised as breakfast. Number 14. Switching off the oven entirely for small meals. This is the big one. The trick that saves more than switching energy providers. Most pensioners live alone or as a couple. They are heating a cavernous oven to cook 1 pork chop and a handful of potatoes. The oven does not care that you are only cooking for 1. It heats the entire chamber regardless. An air fryer only heats the space around the food. For a single person cooking 1 meal a day, the annual electricity difference between oven and air fryer is approximately £130 to £160. For a couple cooking twice a day, the saving climbs toward £200. Stack that alongside every other trick on this list, and the £500 target is not fantasy. It is arithmetic. Number 13. Dehydrating fruit for snacks. Dried apricots cost £3.50 a bag. Dried apple crisps cost even more. Pensioners with air fryers discovered that slicing fresh fruit thin and running the air fryer at 60 degrees for 2 hours produces snacks identical to the ones in Waitrose, at a fraction of the cost. A bag of apples from Aldi cost 80 pence and produces enough dried apple crisps to last a fortnight. Energy cost for the full dehydration session roughly 15 pence. The fruit keeps for weeks in an airtight jar. No preservatives, no added sugar, no paying Whitworth's £3 for something you can make while watching Bargain Hunt. Number 12. Cooking sausages without the grill pan drama. The grill is the most inefficient appliance in the British kitchen. It heats from one direction, takes forever, and requires constant watching because one side burns while the other stays pale. Sausages in the air fryer take 12 minutes at 180 degrees. No turning, no watching, no smoking grill pan to scrub afterward. The fat drips away from the food, collects in the base of the basket, and the sausages come out evenly browned all over. Energy cost is roughly 4 pence compared to 12 pence under the grill. A pensioner eating sausages twice a week saves about 80 pence a month. Small change perhaps, but nobody ever went broke saving 80 pence at a time. Second pattern break. Controversy incoming. Now here is where the kitchen equipment industry gets nervous. Air fryers were supposed to be a trend. A fad gadget that would end up in the back of the cupboard with the bread maker and the soda stream. Instead, pensioners turned them into survival tools. Currys reported in 2023 that over 60% of air fryer purchases were made by people over 55. Argos said their best-selling kitchen appliance for 3 consecutive years was the Ninja air fryer, driven almost entirely by the over 60s market. The reason is simple. Pensioners understand running costs better than anyone. They grew up with parents who counted every coin for the gas meter. They remember when electricity was a luxury. They instinctively calculate cost per meal in their heads before they decide what to cook. So when an appliance comes along that cuts cooking costs by 50 to 70%, they do not need Martin Lewis to explain it. They just know. Number 10. Roasting a whole chicken for Sunday dinner. A 1.5 kilogram chicken takes about 90 minutes in a conventional oven. In an air fryer, the same bird cooks in 50 to 60 minutes at 180 degrees, and the skin comes out crackling crisp because the fan blasts hot air directly onto the surface. The energy saving per roast is about 17 pence. That does not sound dramatic until you realize most pensioners cook a roast at least once a week. Over a year, that is nearly £9 just on the chicken. Add in the roast potatoes, the parsnips, and the Yorkshire puddings that also go in the air fryer across separate quick batches, and the full Sunday dinner, saving climbs to roughly £15 a year. The taste difference splits opinions. Some swear the air fryer bird is juicier because the shorter cook time retains more moisture. Others miss the big oven tray loaded with everything at once. But nobody argues with the electricity bill. Number 9. Making porridge without the hob. Scottish pensioners pioneered this one. A ramekin of oats and milk goes into the air fryer at 180 degrees for 12 minutes. The oats cook to a creamy, slightly caramelized consistency, with a golden skin on top that tastes like baked oatmeal. No pan to wash, no stirring, no watching the hob. Energy cost about 3 pence versus 6 pence for the electric hob. Some pensioners make 2 ramekins at once, eating one hot and saving the other for tomorrow morning, reheated in 3 minutes. The convenience factor alone changed breakfast habits across retirement communities in Edinburgh and Aberdeen. Number 8. Air frying frozen fish instead of oven baking. A frozen fish fillet in the oven takes 25 minutes at 200 degrees. The same fillet in the air fryer takes 12 minutes at 180 degrees and comes out with a crispier coating because the circulating air removes surface moisture instantly. Pensioners cooking fish twice a week save roughly 14 pence per session, or about £14.50 a year just on fish. But the real genius is what happens with fish fingers. Children visiting grandparents get fish fingers in 8 minutes instead of 18. No waiting. No hungry grandchildren tearing the kitchen apart. The air fryer turned grandparent babysitting into something manageable, and every pensioner who has done a school pickup knows exactly how valuable those saved minutes really are. Number 7. The water tray humidity trick. This is the one engineers noticed. Pensioners discovered that placing a small oven-safe dish of water in the bottom of the air fryer basket while cooking bread or pastry creates a burst of steam that gives crusts a professional bakery finish. The steam keeps the surface soft during the first minutes of baking, allowing the dough to rise fully before the crust sets. Then the water evaporates and the hot air crisps everything golden. Testing showed this method produces bread with 20% more rise than dry air fryer baking and uses no additional energy because the water heats from the same element. The trick mimics professional steam injection ovens that cost thousands of pounds. Pensioners are doing it with a ramekin and tap water. The bread tastes like it came from a proper baker, and the total energy cost is under 5 pence per loaf compared to 30 pence in a full-size oven. Some pensioners have not bought shop bread in months. Number 6. Using the air fryer as a plate warmer. Cold plates cool hot food instantly, ruining the meal and tempting people to reheat it, wasting even more energy. Your mother solved this by warming plates in the oven for 10 minutes. A 2,500-watt oven running for 10 minutes costs about 7 pence. An air fryer warms 2 plates in 2 minutes at 100 degrees for less than 1 penny. Stack the plates in the basket, press the button, and by the time the food is served, the crockery is properly warm. It sounds like nothing. But warm plates keep food at eating temperature 40% longer, meaning nobody needs to reheat their second helping. The saving is not just the plate warming. It is the reheating you never have to do. Number 5. Cooking cakes and puddings for one. A full oven baking a single Victoria sponge for 2 hours is like hiring a lorry to deliver a letter. Pensioners discovered that small cake tins and ramekins fit perfectly in the air fryer basket. A single portion sticky toffee pudding takes 15 minutes at 160 degrees. A fairy cake batch of 6 takes 12 minutes. A small fruit crumble in a ramekin takes 20 minutes and comes out bubbling golden with a crisp topping. Energy cost for a pudding, about 4 pence. The oven equivalent, roughly 25 pence. The weekly pudding is sacred in pensioner households. It is not a luxury, it is a ritual. And the air fryer lets them keep that ritual without the guilt of running the oven for one small dish. Third pattern break. Here is the truth nobody in the energy industry wants to discuss. Pensioners are not just saving money with air fryers, they're eating better. The air fryer removed the biggest barrier to cooking proper meals for one person, which is the absurdity of heating a full oven for a single portion. When cooking becomes cheap, fast and easy, people stop reaching for ready meals. They cook real food, fresh vegetables, proper meat, homemade puddings. One GP surgery in Norfolk reported that 3 of their elderly patients showed improved blood results after switching from microwave-ready meals to air fryer cooked fresh food. The surgery did not prescribe the air fryer. The patients figured it out themselves, because pensioners have always known that cooking from scratch is cheaper and healthier. The oven was just making it too expensive to bother. Number 3. Timer cooking while you nap. Pensioners trust the air fryer in a way they never trusted the grill or the hob. The automatic shut-off means they can put food in, set the timer, and sit down in the front room without worrying about the house burning down. Some pensioners admit to having a nap while the air fryer cooks their lunch. The appliance switches itself off. The food stays warm in the insulated basket. No gas left burning. No grill element glowing red while someone dozes in the armchair. The safety factor alone is worth the purchase price. But the energy saving comes from precision timing. The air fryer never runs a minute longer than necessary. It never gets left on by accident. It never heats an empty oven because someone forgot they turned it on. Every watt goes directly into cooking food and nothing more. Number 2. The Sunday batch cook strategy. The most disciplined pensioners in Britain cook 5 or 6 meals in a single Sunday session using the air fryer. Sausages in the first batch. Chicken portions in the second. Roasted vegetables in the third. Each batch takes 10 to 15 minutes. Total air fryer time, about 1 hour. Total energy cost, roughly 25 pence for an entire week of main components. Stored in the fridge, these pre-cooked elements get assembled into different meals throughout the week. Monday is sausage and mash. Tuesday is chicken salad. Wednesday is roasted veg with pasta. Each evening meal only needs 3 to 5 minutes of reheating in the air fryer. The oven stays cold all week. The hob stays cold all week. 1 hour of cooking on Sunday replaces 5 to 7 hours of oven use across the week. The saving is not £500 a year. For pensioners who commit to this fully, it is closer to £600. The maths does not lie. The meter does not lie either. Number 1. The complete oven replacement. This is the trick that ties everything together. Pensioners who fully committed, who unplugged the oven, covered the hob, and made the air fryer their sole cooking appliance, report energy savings between £400 and £600 per year, depending on their previous usage. They are not sacrificing meals. They are not eating cold food. They are cooking everything: breakfast, lunch, dinner, pudding, snacks, reheated leftovers, dried fruit, warmed bread, and toasted tea cakes in a machine that costs less than 10 pence an hour to run. The oven cost them 30 to 40 pence an hour. The grill cost 25 pence. The hob cost 15 pence per ring. The air fryer replaced all of them. 1 plug socket, 1 appliance, 1 electricity bill that finally stopped making them wince. It is the most significant kitchen revolution since the microwave, and it is being led not by celebrity chefs or tech companies, but by British pensioners who learned from their mothers that every penny matters. Here is my challenge. Try one of these this week. Just one. The jacket potato shortcut, the frozen veg roast, the no preheat rule. Then check your smart meter. Watch the numbers. Come back and tell me if your nan was wrong about counting pennies. Share which trick you're going to try first in the comments. I want to know if the Sunday batch cook gets more love than the complete oven replacement. Because this is not about gadgets or trends. This is about a generation that remembers what it means to stretch every shilling, now stretching every kilowatt. And they are winning.